After watching Scream 6, I really hope no one spoils the movie for you before you see it, since it's so full of surprises right from the start that I, and hopefully you, will have an amazing time. I'm still reeling from viewing the movie last night, since after seeing and thinking about it, I came to a conclusion on why the franchise now feels so different, yet so rejuvenated. Scream 6 is not only aggressive and horrifying, but also plain unsettling, since it is, in my opinion, one of the scariest Scream films and made me actually terrified in the theater. These days, in a franchise, there are no rules, says Mindy Meeks in the film, and that's exactly how it felt while watching Scream 6. And yet, of all the iconic boogeymen in Hollywood, I'd have to say Ghostface is on the more horrifying end of the scale because, unlike his slasher counterparts, Ghostface moves quickly and effectively, with action scenes shot so wonderfully and inventively. But once you're on his kill list and he sees you from behind the mask, you're virtually dead meat 90% of the time. Now, for the first time, because New York City is packed, Ghostface will go for anybody and everyone who happens to be in his way, like that in Bodega sequence, which was terrifying, adding another and even scarier element to the character. The voice on the phone, the movie trivia, his manic depressive qualities, his look, the physicality of the character, how he moves, it all comes together really well. And for the first time, Ghostface takes on a more mythological / supernatural quality on par with Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, and Freddy Krueger. Until now, Ghostface was essentially nothing more than a mask, but Ghostface has truly leveled up to the caliber of the characters described, which is pretty amazing to behold. And I believe that's because, ironically, Neve Campbell's Sidney Prescott has been keeping Ghostface out of the spotlight. And with the exception of Gale Weathers, almost all the legacy characters are no longer around. So this truly becomes Ghostface's franchise, and I believe it's for the better. Roger L. Jackson reprises his role as Ghostface's voice, and he, the crew, and the stuntmen deserve a lot of credit for pulling together fantastic sequences that keep you on the edge of your seat and are captivating to watch. And a more vicious Ghostface gets a new fitting final girl in Samantha Carpenter, who has more homicidal tendencies herself, not to mention psychotic visions as the daughter of Skeet Ulrich's Billy Loomis, giving the series a more Dexter sort of vibe, and of course borrows from other anime, comic books, and other supernatural horror stories where our heroine has near supernatural abilities. Samantha Carpenter is a Ghostface in many aspects, and her dualism is also highly interesting and opens up the series to other storylines to tell. I didn't really like Melissa Barrera's performance in Scream 5 where she was introduced, but now that Neve Campbell is gone, Barrera has a lot more to do in front and center, and she does a much better job. I really liked her performance here. Furthermore, with all the parts I've seen of Jenna Ortega in, she continues to demonstrate her versatility as an actress here. Tara Carpenter, Sam's younger sister, is a colorful and interesting character who can hold her own, as she was in the last installment. It's also great to watch Josh Chigara progress from humorous self-relief supporting character to comedic relief leading love interest, even if it's still not a major role. And like in the last installment, Jasmine Savoy Brown and Mason Gooding as Mindy and Chad Meeks are great, really charismatic, and continue to do a lot of the heavy lifting when it comes to having a lot of amusing banter and a lot of heart playing the titular twins. And Tamara Weaving is fantastic as the iconic blonde damsel in distress. However, Jack Champion's Ethan, who played Spider in Avatar: The Way of Water, fell flat on screen to me. He just didn't resonate with me. The film has a great deal of characters, of both red herrings and prospective suspects, and they're all employed really well. In terms of the remaining legacy characters, Courtney Cox is featured infrequently, but has a spectacular chase sequence with Ghostface. And as for Hayden Panettiere, who plays Kirby, a fan favorite, she has some nice moments but is tragically underutilized. But, ironically, I didn't really miss Neve Campbell's Sidney Prescott as much, weirdly enough. Nevertheless, like Sylvester Stallone did with Creed 3, I don't think these stars should be betting and letting the franchises see what it's like without them, because as with Creed 3, they might end up just fine. And while I would love to see Neve Campbell reprise her role as Sydney in future movies, her absence allows Ghostface to finally be the star of the franchise, which I believe is much better. And as for the New York City location, I ended up really appreciating it and finding it more horrifying than the other Scream film suburban settings. That was exciting and terrifying, especially because the film emphasizes how, even amid a large crowd, you can still feel alone and vulnerable, which is especially true in larger cities. The whole urban setting gives the franchise a new burst of energy, but directors Tyler Gillett and Matt Bettinelli-Olphin keep the crisp, well-lit atmospheric cinematography that Wes Craven established for the franchise from the start. So it still feels like a Scream movie, and it also layers a lot of movie trivia and discussion as always. And while most people would say that they'd never wander off in the woods or leave their door open by themselves out in the suburbs, what this movie achieves by putting Ghostface in scenarios you find yourself in regular life is a lot scarier. Therefore, Ghostface can and should travel anywhere. I really like Scream 6 since it maintained the Scream traits while still feeling like a whole new franchise. Scream is a rare example of a series that can keep going and reinvent itself while being consistent without disappointing the fans, and I really love this franchise for it. Well, there you have it. That's my non-spoiler review of Scream 6. What did you think? What did you think of this video? What did you think of the movie if you saw it already? Share all your thoughts and comments down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And also follow my Instagram so you never miss the latest updates on when videos of mine are coming out. And to also just like and admire some fan art of mine that I regularly post on there. Some of that should be showing up on the screen right now. And if you want to know my Instagram tag right now so you can follow me immediately, that should be showing up on the screen right now. Alright, bye everyone.
Don't run me, I run tick, nigga. Yeah, use a bitch.